Thank you. I don't know why I sit in this chair. Okay.
All right, Coach Duffy, if you can start with an opening statement, please.
Felt like we played 2 basketball games. What a frantic pace. We were very concerned about this game today just because of the way Coastal Carolina plays. Very well coached. They got some talent. They can bomb threes and they can get downhill. So I was very proud of the resilience of our team. Obviously, we started off, had a great first quarter, but all we kept talking about in timeouts was it's the game of runs. They're going to make their run. We had to kind of stick to the game plan and had some up and down moments. Obviously, the third quarter wasn't exactly what we had intended, but I thought our response in the fourth quarter to handle their run and their momentum, to make a final push to blow it open a little bit was really good for our team. Proud of them for that.
Open up the floor to questions.
What do you think wasn't working during the third quarter, and what did you like about your team's response in the fourth quarter?
It's interesting. We talked about how focused we needed to be in the beginning of the third quarter, and I thought we just had a couple lapses with just our press offense. They got a couple little, steals off some, just poor decisions by us. We were taking care of the ball pretty well early, just had a couple letdowns, and then, I thought we had some really good shots that we made in the first half, and they didn't go in, and I thought we got a little down on ourselves, so we were just trying to, stay steady, pump each other up, and, like we said, we're going to eventually make our run. They were where they were pressuring at times, and, so I'll look at the film and really see, was it X's and O's? Was it, lineups? Was it something Coastal Carolina was doing to see how we can kind of fix and prevent that third quarter?
Michael?
Even in that third quarter, can you talk about your defense? Because even in that third quarter, you still held them low.
Yeah, they only had 12 points. And I think the big key, they were 5 for 12 from 3. They were coming to the game averaging almost 33s a game. And, with the quick turnaround of just a one-day prep, with a team like this, you're kind of like, okay, we might have to give up a couple twos. And a couple maybe easy buckets to make sure we're high on their shooters. And Grady was bombing some in the first four games of the year. She can really stroke it. And, Krista Williams is a kid who can get hot in different ways. And so I thought, no matter what was going on from some of our mistakes, and they got a few points in the paint, we were still guarding the three-point line and sticking to our game plan, which I thought was great discipline by our team today.
To follow up on that, you wanted a game with a quick turnaround. How do you feel you guys handled that challenge?
Yeah, we had a quick turnaround against a really good team, and Coastal's going to win a lot of games, especially in their league. And we were on them pretty good after the Gardner-Webb game to really stay focused, whether we were walking through some things where we were full live in practice. You kind of squeeze in a couple different film sessions that you normally do over 2 or 3 days. We fit them into kind of the day, one practice and a shoot-around. So I thought our focus was really good. The first quarter, the way we came out, I felt like we executed what we wanted to. It doesn't always happen like that, but I thought overall the carryover into the prep of Coach Icy Scout and to teaching me very quickly what we needed to do and to the communication to our team was very solid for an early game.
Did you feel like you lost your legs at all, got weary at all in the second half, or no?
I'm always concerned with that when you play a team like Coastal, and we want to play fast and be up tempo, and then they want to probably play faster than us in some ways. So you're always watching that with is it a substitution pattern you can help? Do I call a timeout? We got a little bit kind of in some mini foul trouble with people picking up their third. Mackie picked up her fourth. So I was concerned there's a little bit of fatigue, especially early on in the season. When you're not used to playing a lot of minutes, but the fact that Karis and Carly played the biggest minutes of the season. A little bit shorter bench today, but that's okay, I think, relative to how the game was going.
Carly had a double-double, and Mackenzie had 12 points and 4 assists. Mm-hmm. Is this kind of a sign of what you had envisioned with the combination of having those two side-by-side there?
I think Carly was really happy with her 10 assists. I said, congrats on 23 points, and she kind of looked at me, and then I said 10 points or 10 assists, and she was very happy. So, I thought she shared the ball well. I thought she got people a lot of different shots. Her and Mackie were doing a great job of that. I thought Samaya was very good with sharing the ball, too. So overall, I know Carly's going to be happy she made her free throw. She was a little bummed a few games ago with a couple misses. She puts herself to a high standard of making those. But overall, 19 for 22 in a game that was pretty physical, and there was a lot of loose ball fouls. I thought we handled that well.
Michael?
I asked Mackie this, but Mackie, Samaya, even Daly, they're not necessarily known for their three-point shot. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the work they put in and just taking the shots, let alone making them today for Mackie especially, and Samaya?
I get the luxury to watch them every day. They both can make threes. It's just a matter of, Mel settling in. She has a great mid-range game. She's sneaky with how she can get her shots off. Mackie much improved from last year. As a freshman, she was just trying to, in some ways, figuring it out and run her team. So she's more confident to shoot both her pull-up and her three. She doesn't maybe get as many just because of the way our offense is flowing with, a few other people getting a few more shots. But it's really good when a couple people get cold that, Samaya, Mackie, Mel, Layla, Sophie, we got people who can hit them, and we got to keep encouraging them to shoot them because we're going to need that as we move forward in this season.
Thomas?
Carly with 23 points. You mentioned that earlier. Have you seen her grow both as a scorer and as a leader?
I think Carly's poise is the greatest thing about her right now. Even tonight, she had some streaks of her scoring and her facilitating, but she was really good on Grady tonight. I mean, we put her on her most of the game. Held her to only 6 points, and that was Carly being focused and locked in. She wants to be a two-way player. We're pushing her on some different matchups to do that. And so I'm most proud of when a game like today happens. Yes, she scored and she facilitated, but then you can say, man, I think her defense might have been the best part of what she did today. And that's a huge testament to Carly's focus and her work. And, she had a quick little film session yesterday individually from the previous game, and thought she improved tremendously. And I love that about our team. It's the relentless growth that we're coming in, hungry to get better. As the scouts change a little bit and opponents change, somebody like Carly, who's a huge leader in our program, to show, like, I'm the defensive stopper today. So I'm very proud of her for that.
And then on that defensive end, you mentioned relentlessness, 27 turnovers. Just what did you like about your team's defensive pressure today?
I think we did it a couple different ways. I think we got our hands on some balls. We got a couple tips, deflections. That's 27 potential less possessions that they had in a very up-tempo game. So I think that helped us. Some of those turnovers allowed us to get a few more shots maybe than they did, which is always a good stat in the books.
Lost the overall rebounding battle, but had 11 second chance points compared to their 0. I mean, how big can that be in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, not a ton really of rebounds. The 11 offensive rebounds was good. I mean, we can out-rebound a team by 15, and we look at the film and we're like, dang, that was not a great rebounding game. So this one, I don't know. We'll look at it. I think we had to get a few more people back in transition just because of how Coastal played. But overall, hopefully when we go back and watch the film, we have people doing their jobs on the glass.
27 turnovers, 31 points off turnovers. What can you say about that?
Yeah, it was huge. Maybe another big stat of the game other than, our three-point percentage defense, but keeping that other stat at a really high level. That was good. I'll take that.
Mark?
Following up on Mackenzie, what did you kind of see from her in the offseason or preseason that made you think, okay, she's ready to start, I want to kind of get more minutes this year?
Mackie got some valuable minutes last year, and she's got a tough job. She's running the point. She's helping Carly with it. There's so much growth when you first step on the court for big minutes. She was coming off the bench, and now in a new year, she deserves every second of that, starting position. She's working hard. She's getting more resilient and tough with all different things within the game, whether that's me challenging her or Coach Nay challenging her, whether that's just being able to guard another team's best player, hitting shots when she needs to versus facilitating. And I think she's doing all the right things. And I think the good thing about her is she's staying steady with every process we're going through in this day-to-day. And I'm just really proud of just the way she's growing. She's still a pretty young player in a lot of ways, and I like what she's doing. She's being coachable. She's just really a joy to grow with her in this process.
4 games in with these variety of opponents, are you kind of
Ooh, Mark.
This was
tired.
a intentional thing. When you design the early schedule, are you kind of getting what you wanted out of it in terms of this?
Yeah, when we schedule it happens. Sometimes they're scheduled really far back, almost a year. Sometimes it's last minute. I knew they were different styles, but I didn't think we would have to be so locked into an all-zone team the other night. The chaos of Coastal Carolina. We'll figure out what the next game's going to be like, but I think it's really great to be able to focus in on these scouts and try and take away certain things. And there's plenty of times in these first 4 games we haven't taken away some things we needed to. So just the growth of their IQs and growing, it's so critical when you get into ACC play down the road, because that margin of error and a few mistakes can win or lose you a game. So to see some of that, regardless, we're talking a lot about don't watch the scoreboard. Watch the 4 or 5 minutes that we're playing, watch after a timeout, how do we lock into the small things, instead of, looking at the scoreboard, whether you're up or down.
One question over here, and then David will be our last one.
Lucas Harrison, Collegiate Times. 13 for Coastal Carolina, Tracy Houston. She had 21 points off the bench, 8 for 12. What was she doing that was so much different to the other players on Coastal that was making you hard to guard her?
Tracy was awesome. That girl had a game today. She was tough. She was physical. She, got to her spots. I think they did a great job of finding her inside in a couple different ways. Like I said, we had a decision to make, to guard that 3-point line, or potentially, give up a couple twos like we did. But kudos to her. I thought we had a couple breakdowns, but I thought she had a really nice game.
All right, David.
You've talked about the quick turnaround. Can you just talk a little bit more about what goes into that in terms of them getting their minds right, just the shifting of the schedules and whatnot, and when you guys go play in the U.S. Virgin Islands in 2 weeks, how beneficial it is just to have that kind of experience where it's not, hey, we're throwing this at you for the first time, and we're not even in Blacksburg when we're doing it.
It's such a fun process. I can't tell you now. It's wild. It's crazy. Tora Coleman had the scouts as soon as we were finished with Gardner-Webb. We're in the office talking about it, putting the game plan together. She teaches me the game plan and we know what Coastal's going to do, and then I make some adjustments. And you're up really late. You're not sleeping a lot, and that quick turnaround. Even we practiced at 11 o'clock, so the Gardner-Webb game into an 11 o'clock practice when you got 1 day prep, it's not quite an all-nighter, I wouldn't say that, but you're just really obsessed with making sure you're going to have your team prepared. The girls' job is to relax and get some sleep and fuel and recover. I thought they were very focused on the scout, knowing the keys to win, locked into their film session. We have the ability through Just Play to send them the scout so they can watch the video even after the day's over yesterday. And, that's it's key. Like you said, we're going to have some quick turnarounds, even the MTE. You have to really be selective with the things you give them as a coach as well. So you're not overloading. So they focus on, 2 or 3 things and let's go execute it. And then we make adjustments in the game. But for an early season, it's good to kind of get that with that 1 day prep.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you all.